I'm Dalia Alswiety and I'm an engineer. I finished my master's this year actually in advanced architecture. My master thesis has had multiple methodologies, and one of the methodologies I've conducted a research upon it, and I published it with you throughout the conference last month or in January, a couple of weeks ago. As you said, my title is A Comprehensive Evaluation of Thermal Performance and Time Lag in Residential Apartments, a numerical simulation study on phase change material with mesothelium integration in Amman. Starting with how did I conduct this specific research is because here in Amman, in Jordan, we have a problem. Jordan is a country in the Middle East. We have multiple advantages to live in this country, but one of its major disadvantage is that we lack non-renewable energy sources. And we actually have an increased demand on these energy sources, and that comes because we have a problem in the thermal insulation and a problem in the residential buildings. We live in a problem. Actually, at the moment now, I opened the AC because we can see that the residential buildings do demand a lot of energy, which means demand a lot of or an increased electricity bill at the last day of the month. So what I did here is that I said between myself, why don't I orient the research in a vernacular way, using materials from the land of our country and integrating it into the residential building. It surely will enhance thermal performance. Taking as an example of people who live in Antarctica, for example, they live in igloos, but they don't feel the cold as much. That's because they used material from the earth itself, from the materials from their ground. So I used phase change material, which is a material that we can find in the Dead Sea. It's a type of salt. It's actually self-explanatory. You can see self-explanatory. It changes its phase from solid to liquid and liquid to solid by absorbing and releasing heat. So it acts as a barrier, so that the thermal or the temperatures outside won't go to the enclosure, and the temperature inside would go outside. So it's a barrier, and it helps to improve the thermal performance. And that's exactly what I've done by doing the numerical simulation. I used a simulation by doing. I used a simulation software called Revit and an Unreal Engine, and multiple plugins were done just to evaluate my variables in a technological way rather than feeling it by hand, because we don't actually use this material. So I had to validate my results just by using specific simulations. So the results showed that by using phase change material and mesothelium integration as a material between the layers of the envelope of the residential building will enhance thermal performance. And I've done a feasibility study on another research on the same topic as well, and it showed that adding a little bit of extra money on this layer, this specific material, will decrease the energy usage for about 35%, which actually for a residential building here in Amman, it's very good. Yeah, and that's what my research was on. Actually, I had multiple challenges that faced me, and one of the challenges was to know from where would I take the specific information about phase change material in Amman, because there are only minimal formal faculties and formal sites that I could conduct the information from, such as ministries, such as the MEMR, Ministry of Energy Resources here in Jordan. Another challenge that faced me, they helped me actually, but it took a process and paperwork. The second challenge was that I needed to understand what was the methodology or multiple methodologies that I will be depending on, so that I could validate my results, because the phase change material with mesothelium integration is a material that I studied. It's a material study. It's not used here in Jordan. I can't ask constructors how would I be using it, how would I be integrating it in a residential apartment. I depended on multiple literatures, other people who study the specific material in other regions, other countries, in other sectors as well, not specifically residential apartments. That was one of my challenges. Another challenge was I had to I had to learn 5 new softwares as plugins with the Revit software in order to know how would I simulate my residential apartment that I chose in Amman in a very detailed way and a specific way so that my results could be validated, as I said before. But all of the challenges, I took them into consideration and yeah, I solved them out. My first motivation was I wanted to do a research. I can't say it's groundbreaking and it's something new here in Jordan, but I wanted to do a research as an architect that's outside of the box. So I took a problem that I'm living in. I feel it as a problem that we don't feel the warmth in winter. We don't feel the coolness in summer. Because here in residential apartments, as I said before, we lack thermal insulation or a good thermal insulation by calculating the U value. As I said in my methodologies, it's you can see by the numbers that the thermal performance doesn't even exceed the codes here in Jordan. So my motivation is that I love my homeland, I love my country. I needed to make a research that could help improving and solving a problem that we live in. Most people, yeah, I work online now at the moment, so more than 90% of my time I'm living in the enclosure, my residential apartment, and I feel the problem that surrounds me. So I assured myself that my research or my multiple researchers that I'm working on at the moment will be about solving this specific problem. So my motivation was to improve the living status here in Jordan. Actually, I consider myself as a young researcher as well. I was born in 1998. I'm 25 years old at the moment. I started my research journey at my bachelor's. My university, which is the University of Jordan, as you said in the introduction. My university stated that throughout the graduation thesis, graduation project, my 5th year of the bachelor's, I should make a thesis on the last in the last as the last sector. So I saw that I liked doing researches. So I continued doing my master's at the same year of my graduation project. I finished my graduation project in 2021, my bachelor's. Then I've gone through the academic side and said that I wanted to continue studying my master's. So when I started my master's in the first year, my first research was about transportation, a rapid transportation bus here in Amman. I knew what was my problem in the graduation project with my thesis. It lacked technicality. I do actually recommend people who want to continue in the research aspect to understand the technicality on how to write a research. It's not easy. You might read multiple literature on people how they made their research, how they made their thesis, but you can't if it's not tangible, if you didn't do it by your hands, you won't understand it. Your first research won't be 100% as you thought it would. You would never actually be a 100% in research. You need the multiple tasks to do, understand the variety, understand how to conduct a specific methodology to contribute or to solve your problem. My main problem here was that we lack thermal insulation, and my solution was to study a material that here in Jordan actually is not used. So how would I do a methodology on this? So my main advice for people who want to continue into the research, that they should put in mind a problem that they feel that it is a problem, that they don't want to do a research just because it's a task. They want to do a research because it's something that their university said that you should do it. You might like it actually, but it won't be 100% as you imagined it to be. You should always have in mind that the problem that you are thinking about is something that you could divide into multiple parts. so that you could work with the challenge that will the challenge and the challenges of the problem itself. Understand how the research needs to have a solution. Multiple people told me that the master thesis, as an example, you shouldn't come up with a solution. You should only analyze the problem. No, you should actually think about the solution. It's not only people who are experienced in the research that only know how to make a solution or to conduct a solution. My title itself, if you saw my conference, and if people would like to see the conference in the session that you saved on Facebook, it's divided into the problem and the process of the problem, then the solution, which was the material that I studied. The research has a specific process. Only the researcher knows how the process will be done for his own research. But my advice is always that you should understand the motivation that started it all, your motivation. Then understand that the problem should be something that you see as a problem, not only a research that you want to do just to do a publication on it. Yeah, that's the main advice. As a young researcher, yeah, maybe other people would have a wiser advice, but from my experience, this is the advice that I would like to give younger people. Actually, I've learned a lot from the conference. I came for I came to you just to tell you that I needed to do a conference because I like actually to tell people about my research. I thought that I told you before, I don't like the word groundbreaking, but I saw something I learned from other people. I learned from the professors in the introduction. It was the knowledge was enriching. I really liked the people who came as well. I think there was a variety in people, and it was diverse as well. I liked how each person had a time, and that the framework you sent it to me before a couple of days, and it was achieved as specifically as the timeline you sent me. So time was it was very good. Knowledge wise, it really enriched me. I do recommend people to watch the conference that you saved on your Facebook and YouTube channel. Actually, I would like to thank everyone that helped me to do this conference, your firm and the people who came as well. I learned a lot. I think I will be doing another conference if you would like, if you liked my other researchers as well. I will be sending them to you in throughout the email. Yeah, I learned a lot about different stuff actually. Not only technology, not only engineering. It's always also about healthcare. It was interesting. It was interesting. I was there through the 4 hours, all of them.